So there's been so much confusion about the new rules that have come out and how agents are going to be paid and what the fee structure is going to be. Let's try to clarify some of that.
Yeah, we're going to break it down for everyone. So we have 3 main points. The first one is that the MLS will no longer be showcasing buyer's agent's fee like it used to. So before, we would, as a buyer's agent looking at different homes for our buyers, we would know what that seller's offering in terms of a fee for the buyer's agent. That is no longer there. So what we have to do instead is ask for it with the offer.
Right. So the seller, in our second point, is the seller still can pay the fee.
Yes.
It just won't be advertised, if you will. It will be, they can decide on a fee with their agent right away, what they're willing to pay the buyer's agent, or they can wait and see what the buyer brings in an offer on what they want their agent to be paid.
Yes.
It's a little confusing, but yeah.
It is. But when you're in it, it's not as confusing.
It's not as confusing.
So at the end of the day, the seller could still pay the buyer's agent commission. It just isn't upfront like it used to be. Now it's asked for with the offer.
Right. And I think what we're going to see most, at least what the clients we're working with right now, they are just leaving it completely up to the buyer to put it in the offer. However, they can also say, yes, I'm willing to pay, 2%, 3%, 2.5%. They can do that still, but or they can just say, I don't know, bring me an offer. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, which is what we're seeing so far. About a week and a half into this, that's what we've been seeing so far.
And then what was the third point?
The third point is that when you want to go see a home as a buyer, you do now have to have an agreement in place with your agent prior to seeing any homes, ever, with any agent, any home, except for open houses.
Except for open houses. So if you've a brand new buyer, you call an agent maybe through Zillow or one of those other websites, you don't know them, and you just want to go see the house, do you have to sign an agreement?
Yes.
Okay. But what if I've been working with my agent for a year, and now we want to go and see a house that's after August 17th?
You now have to sign an agreement with that agent.
Okay. What does that agreement say exactly? We should probably talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there are, for us at RE/MAX, we have 3 different types of forms for this agreement in place. They basically, there's a less committal one, there's a middle committal one, and then there's a longer term 3-month, up to 3-month agreement. So I don't know if all brokerages are doing, I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing it a little bit differently, but a little bit the same. And it's sort of like those 3 different sections to me are like, we compare it to maybe like dating. So you go on the first date, but you're just going to lunch. You're not committing to start dating this agent.
Yeah. It's just the one date.
This person, yes. And it's really not dating, but we're just trying to like make it understandable. Yeah, simplify. So that first time you're out meeting them, you are agreeing to work with them on that particular house, but in our case, we're ending that almost immediately, and you can cancel the agreement immediately.
Yes.
And then the second one is like, you've moved on from lunch.
Yeah. You're on your second date. So this form is, you can see up to 3 properties. So on this particular form, the agent will write out the 3 properties that you're going to see. Or if you're seeing one and you want to see another one later, they'll add that property address in later. And it's a little bit of a longer form, and it's a little bit more committal. But again, it does talk about, basically each form has the duration of the time that you're working together, how long that form is in place for, that agreement's in place for, and then what your agent's going to get paid, and that hopefully we're going to be asking the seller to pay for that fee. And then there's things about the agency disclosure, so fiduciary duties and legalese on there too.
Right, and that one I believe is 3 pages, 2.5.
Yeah, the middle
like
committal.
Yeah, and then there's the longer form, which is 5 pages, and it goes into a little bit more detail. But at the end of the day, there's 3 forms that you have to potentially sign to see a house. One is less committal, one is medium committal, one is full committal.
Yeah.
But the thing about these forms is they do say, buyer, you are willing to pay your agent a fee, but we also put in that agreement that says, but we're going to ask the seller to pay that fee in the offer.
So what happens if this house that I want, the seller will not pay the buyer's agent fee?
Well, I would still write it in the offer and see if they will end up paying that fee. You can always make a higher offer and get them to pay that fee, or you can work on an agreement with your agent to pay them directly. There are 3 options on paying the agent's fee. The seller can pay it, the buyer can pay it, or a combination of the 2.
Okay. And there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen, and it's all very new to us, so we're going to be working through it with our clients.
Yeah, with both buyers and sellers, just helping them understand the process and what their options are, because there are a lot of options.
Okay, so what if I want to go see an open house? Do I have to sign any form to do that?
So yeah, under the new rules with having to sign forms, you do not have to sign a form to view an open house. An agent may have you sign a longer committal form. That's up to you whether you do that or not, but just know that you are getting into an agreement with that agent. There's also potentially a sign-up sheet that you can just sign in, but I don't believe you actually have to sign that either. The problem is that the agent can't give you a lot of information. I think you can get the basic information, but they are strictly working for the seller at the open house. So no, you don't have to sign an agreement or a form to view an open house.
Ideally, I think for me, what comes out of this whole scenario as a buyer is it's a really good idea, which is exactly what sellers do, is to pick your agent before shopping. So when you're a seller, you might interview one agent, you might interview 2 or 3 agents, and you pick your agent, and then you go on the market. And you're probably also shopping for homes as well. So when you're a buyer, the tendency is to just go see a home because it's exciting and that's what attracts you. And maybe that's what brings you into the market in the first place, is a home that you love.
Sure.
But in this case, when you are required now to sign some sort of agreement, even though, yes, you can get out of this agreement, I think that the good that can come out of it is shopping for your agent, getting committed with an agent who you like, who you trust, who you want to work with, and having them show you every home and work for you.
Right.
Because that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Shop for your agent before you shop for the house.
That's our new motto.
And the other thing I think you want to keep in mind if you do view a house is what type of form you're signing. So we mentioned there's 3 different types of forms. You don't want to sign multiple forms with multiple agents, because then you could be responsible for multiple fees to different agents. So
be wary.
It's sort of like, we use that dating analogy again. It's like you don't date multiple people. Yeah. Pick one you like.
Because then you're going to end up paying for everyone's bill.
Exactly. Good one. Yeah, I think you just want to make sure that you're not just signing away at a bunch of different forms with several different agents. But it is okay to sign, as long as that agreement, it says on there that you can cancel it and it expires, even the day that you go and view the home. I mean, I think that's what we're doing with people that we haven't met and that haven't met us, because we understand you don't want to get married to somebody before you even meet them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good idea to meet somebody and then have that quick non-exclusive form. But there's going to be questions that come up, and your agent should be there to help you, guide you through the process.
Yeah, and if you have someone that you already know you want to work with, maybe you've worked with them before or they're a friend of yours or whatever, and you feel more comfortable signing the longer term form, I would ask them, like, hey, can I just sign the long-term form so I don't have to keep re-signing this every time we see a house?
We've had several clients do that. Just, they understand, they trust us, they're ready to work with us. They just want to go and view homes, and they sign the longer form.
Yeah.
More commitment.
Yes. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of moving parts. Your agent's going to be here to guide you through it. Shop for an agent before you shop for a home, and know that we are going to be asking the seller to cover those fees. And we'll kind of go from there.
It's negotiable, though.
It's all negotiable. It's always been negotiable, and it always will be.
Yes. All right. Thanks.